Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education public budget hearing tonight here at James Caldwell High School at 6 o'clock p.m. in the James Caldwell High School cafeteria. This Board of Education meeting will be streamed live, but all community questions and comments will be welcomed here in person. The Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education public budget hearing meeting is compliant with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. Notices have been sent to the Progress in Caldwell, New Jersey, and the Star Ledger, Newark, New Jersey, as well as Tap Into West Essex. Notices have also been posted at the Board of Education Business Office, located in the Harrison School Building, 104 Gray Street, in West Caldwell, and have been delivered to the clerks of the Borough of Caldwell and the Township of West Caldwell for posting. Brian, can you take the roll, please?
Yes. Ms. DiMartini.
Here.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson.
Here.
Ms. Mack.
Here.
Mr. Diambola.
Here.
Ms. Grosso.
Here.
5 voting members present. We have a quorum.
Can everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brian, are there any communications for the board this evening?
There were none.
Okay, so we're going to pass it on to Dr. Conklin for superintendent's report.
The only report I have tonight is to introduce the GCMS production of Frozen. They like to do a short performance for us, so we can see what we're going to expect 2 weeks from now.
just want to remind everyone watching at home and who's in the audience tonight for the budget hearing that Frozen is next weekend, May 16th, 17th, and 18th. The 16th, thank you so much, Miss M. They were fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Friday night, May 16th, the show is at 6:30, I believe. Saturday at 1 p.m., Sunday at 1 p.m. Tickets are $5. They are on sale right now, available on the district's website. Because there's limited shows, we can probably guarantee it's such a popular show, it's going to sell out quickly. Tickets are $5. So buy your tickets in advance and let's support our kids because they've worked so hard and it's going to be pretty wonderful. There's also going to be cast meet and greet after the 2 matinees on Saturday and Sunday. So be a real fun time. They were fantastic. Okay, Dr. Conklin, anything else?
That concludes my report.
Okay, fantastic. So now we're going to move forward to the budget hearing, and we're going to turn it over to Mr. McCarthy, our awesome business administrator.
Okay, thank you. Again, I'm Brian McCarthy. I'm the school business administrator and board secretary for Caldwell-West Caldwell. And of course, I have a tough act to follow here, so I probably won't be as entertaining as the kids. No, I was told I have no voice. So the format I'm presenting is similar to what you've seen the last couple of years. I think it's important for continuity. So you'll see some of the slides that look similar, but again, we have some different exciting information. So I always start before I do a budget presentation, obviously just define what exactly are we putting together here and presenting. And the budget is nothing other than a plan for expenses and revenue for our 2025-2026 fiscal year spending at the district. And it's organized in not in so much of the narrative, but in monetary terms, because we're talking about largely the revenues and expenses for the district and how they're allocated to achieve the board's mission and strategic goals. Again, also it's a living document. It's our best plan. It changes over the year as need, but we try to best target our revenues and expenses. I thought before we start, it's important to outline some of the challenges that are facing not only Caldwell-West Caldwell, but all New Jersey public schools, and you'll see some of these things outlined in our budget. I started off with talking about the statutory cap. So all New Jersey schools, we are limited by a 2% maximum increase in a tax levy every year. This can be risen if we get adjustments for healthcare costs or enrollment adjustments by the state. So you can sometimes have slightly higher than 2%. The board would have to approve that additional raise, and then this is sometimes called a bank cap if we don't use it. We do have some bank cap available that will expire next year. We're not planning to use it for this year. So when you have a 2% statutory increase only in revenue, you can see this is an issue because our expenses are largely going up greater than 2%. Our salaries we've negotiated with teachers, and teachers throughout the state are somewhere in the 3.5%, somewhere even the 4% range, and that usually is, obviously that's a large part of your cost as a school. In addition, we have healthcare costs that have been recently rising at 5 to 10%, and this year we did get hit with a 20% hike in gas and utilities. It's the whole state of New Jersey. You're going to see this at your residential level as well. So that's because we don't produce gas or electricity in the state of New Jersey. I noted that inflation has come down. We're not the same inflation we had a couple years ago, but I am concerned. You know, we will see possibly some additional costs in supplies and other materials if the tariffs hit. We don't know that, but it's a risk for our budget. We do have some slack budgeted in, but that is something that could be a problem, not just for Caldwell-West Caldwell, but actually for consumers and for all New Jersey schools. In addition, we do rely on some federal grants. We have two large programs. It's IDEA, which is an acronym for Individual Disabilities Education Act. We get about $600,000 annually from the federal government, and that goes directly as a subsidy in our budget for out-of-district tuition. And we also get ESEA, formerly known as Title I funds, or No Child Left Behind, and that helps subsidize some of our after-school programs for kids. So we're aware of this. We do 5-year projections, so this is not something that's going to strike us as something that's new, but again, we form our budget with a forward-looking what happens if we don't make changes this year and the next years.
Here we go.
All right. So what we do is streamlining. I call it streamlining. So when we build the budget, it's a zero-based budget. So sometimes people ask, well, why is it different from last year? Literally, we start at zero. Teachers and our personnel, they're in the budget. Usually we have a raise for them, but they're in there. And then everything else, we look for needs. So all our administrators will come back and say, here's what we need. Some will ask for more, some will ask for less. But our budget is built not just rolling up for some type of percentile increase, 2 to 3%, but based on needs. Our budget includes no additional staffing. We have actually a one-time FTE, full-time equivalent reduction in administrative staffing. We have reduction in supply budgets. We pared back some of our required maintenance and facilities this year. These are things that we have to do to achieve a balanced budget. As you can see, 2% revenue, 3 to 4% in expenses. We also have streamlined or actually reduced some of our technology spending. We still have a one-to-one initiative, so we've been in good shape for the last couple of years, and we haven't had to, you'll see the next slide, really impact instruction. I put this slide in here because the most important thing, obviously, for schools is our instructional budget. Again, this is a 5-year look. You saw this slide last year, but you can see FY26 for fiscal year 26. We're still trending up for regular program instruction. So we're about over $1 million higher. That's largely salary for our teachers. We still have a very healthy budget for supplies, textbooks, improved instruction is our curriculum and instruction. And then for training, we're still maintaining, over $65,000 for staff training. I have it in red for the last couple of years. You saw it where it ballooned up during the pandemic. We had additional funding, but we're back to levels that we've seen in the past. This is the budget. So you've seen this before. If you watched this last year, it is on the left side, it's our revenues. On the right side, it is our expenses. I like to use colors. Green is revenue, makes sense. Red is what we're spending. You can see that our total budget is approximately $61 million. I have to balance the revenue and the expenses. On the top left side, you'll see that the largest revenue item we have is the tax levy from the towns of West Caldwell and Caldwell. We went up 2% this year. So we have roughly $1,039,000 of additional revenue from the increase of 2% in the tax levy. The other things we received net about $100,000 more in state aid. We had about $146,000 additional in normal programs, and a program called SEMI, which is Special Education Medicaid Initiative. We're down about $41,000. We also have, I put in there about $35,000 additional revenue and transportation fees. We do busing for some of our surrounding neighborhood districts, and we piggyback on our out-of-district where we can as a shared service, and that's additional revenue for the district. So our operating budget is $57,211,000. In addition, I put in here's some one-time revenue items that are in the budget. They bounce off on the expense side. 415,000 plus the 82 is what's called excess surplus. What that means is if we have additional money that is left in surplus from our, this is from our last year's budget, we are FY24, we're allowed to bring that money in as a top-line revenue item for this budget. I try to keep it around 400,000 to 500,000 because obviously you can't depend on it. If you have a really tight budget, that there's no surplus and that money is zero. So we've been doing about 400,000 to 500,000. It's prudent, but again, these are one-time revenue items, and you can't count on them. In addition, we have withdrawals from capital reserve. We have 954,000 in withdrawals that were two projects that are in the budget for the Wilson and Lincoln vestibules. These are the parts, the additions. We have part that was borrowed in the referendum. These are amounts that were outside the referendum that we planned to put in this budget to help round out the cost for those two projects. Finally, you'll see $3,250,000. This again is a withdrawal from the capital reserve account. It's a one-time payment in principal for our borrowing of the $22,875,000 that we just did. It's going to settle on May 15, and we did that to front load the principal payments so that our debt service for the taxpayers would be the same as what came off last year, as we told you when we did the referendum. So on the right side, and those are our revenues, on the right side you can see our expenses. You'll notice that the salaries, about $34,158,000, were about $1,081,000 in additional costs. It pretty much matches the 2% revenue. So you can see, well, how did you do that? So if you can only go up $1 million and you spend $1 million on salaries, that means the other programs we have to tighten the belt, and that's what we've done. Fortunately, we've done a lot of planning here in the district, and we're at a point where we have a little slack in the budget. If you want to use the cliches, we've gone to some of the fat. We're not in the muscle or the bone right now. Some other districts are, but we're really tightening the belt. And going forward, again, this kind of 2% and 3, 4, 5 on the expense is not sustainable, but we're cognizant in doing all that we can given the structure of public schools in New Jersey. In addition to our operating budget, this rounds out the other items in our budget. Fund 20 are our grants I alluded to before. We have about $720,000 between the IDEA and the ESEA grants. And then we have what's called the debt service fund. If you look down below in the purple, you'll see the amounts for debt service for West Caldwell and Caldwell. They're roughly the same as what happened last year, and that's the result of having that $3,250,000 payment in from the capital reserve. Okay, so our total budget is actually $64,862,000. If you see the user-friendly budget, they have $68 million and change, and then you back out that $3,250,000 because it's a kind of a kink in the software, in my opinion. This is small, but again, if you look at all our expenses, these are the programs. So of that $65 million, these are the different things that you hear about of what we do. And if you look on the left side of this, it's small here, but you start off with the regular programming, special education, athletics, all the way down to administration, facilities. These are the expenses that we have for the programs, and these include everything. So by program, we're talking salaries, purchase services, supplies, etc. And it does foot back down to the total budget I talked to you about. So you have the comparative between last year and this year. And I'll go over in the next slide some of the big differences where we actually are spending more by program and less by program. And on the bottom chart where I have it bracketed in the bold black, again, you'll see that between the salaries, employee benefits, if you add them up, we're about 80% of our budget. Again, that's very normal for For schools, labor is our biggest cost, our biggest stakeholders are our teachers, and that's where the lion's share of our expenses go for personnel. Okay. So these are the highlights of the programs that I just talked about in the prior slide. In this slide here, I highlighted programs that we have a 100,000 change from the previous year. The red, in this case, means we're spending more, and in the green, these are all expenses, means we're spending less. So if you notice that regular programs of instruction, we're up about $1 million. That's really all the salaries. For special education, we had a decrease at the high school and the middle school and the need to hire special education teachers. And I'll say that the reason is we've done some analysis because 4 years ago when I got here, our classification rates were in the low 20s, 20%, which means 20% or greater of your population is classified as needing special education services. Now we're trending down into the high teens. So it's not that we're cutting the services, it means that there's other supports that have been in place and we are spending less for special education. The metric that other schools look at, I can say that some of the other districts in the state targeting where they think they should be, and again, we're looking at average numbers, not that we're trying to target this, but if you're around 13 to 14% of your total student population is really you want to be if you are running in a completely efficient program for gen ed and special ed where you think all the supports are in place, but we're moving in the right direction. The second thing you'll notice is that we have a large reduction on special education out-of-district tuition. That goes, that's not necessarily everything we're doing. Sometimes you can have that change. If you have a family comes in and you have 2 or 3 kids, and 400,000 is not a big number. But we're lower on special education tuition. We're lower extraordinary services. These are the aids. They go tied to the out-of-district tuition. These are the aids that we pay for at other schools. If we had the tuition, we also have a line where we pay for the aids that help the children at these programs. Child study team, we're actually spending a little more. We've done a lot more in-house for OT, OT and PT. Physical therapy and occupational therapy, those are the acronyms. Improve instruction, we actually were down a little in the curriculum instruction. This is tied to, I think, an administrative position reduction. Central services, 200,000 is less spending. That's the central office, including my business office, and that's because we had an item that was really a district-wide expense that was budgeted in the business office, and I moved it to be district-wide as in the correct placement. Transportation, we have a large increase in transportation costs, and this is largely because it hadn't been really correctly, we had a change in command with our transportation last year. Someone left, and we really looked at it, and we are properly budgeting for added district. So we have sometimes that we can't bus in-house. We will hire, for instance, Sussex Cooperative, and they bus for us. We also have more expense for transportation repairs and for some of our salary because it's very hard to keep drivers and aides, and you have to pay them to keep them here. So we're not the highest in the area, but we're certainly no longer the lowest, and we've had better retention, and honestly, the program is running much better. Finally, you'll see that we have higher costs for the health benefits. I told you last year, fortunately, I budgeted pretty aggressively for the health benefit increases. It came in even high. It came in higher than what actually slightly lower than what I budgeted, but between that increase and what I budgeted this year, we're only at 200,000 year over year in the budget. So that kind of worked out. Highlights. This is the highlights from this year's budget. Things that we've done. Again, these are the numbers, not necessarily the narrative of the instructional things we've done, but we repaved the parking lot at Harrison. We did some of the brick masonry and waterproofing repairs at Grover Cleveland. Additional money is in the budget, in the referendum for larger repairs at the middle school, but this is something that was critical to get done right now. We replaced hot water heaters at the high school. we replaced boilers at also at the high school, Lincoln School in Harrison. And if you notice at the last time we had the board meeting at Jefferson, we fixed the lights in the gym because I couldn't read. We couldn't, it was dark, so I think that's an improvement there. In addition, again, we also, you know, we had additional purchases of Chromebooks and Promethean boards this year as well. For the upcoming budget, these are things that are going on. As you know, we are actively working on the new plans or the final plans for the referendum. We did sell 20-year bonds at a 3.97 net interest cost. The bond settled on May 15th. I was pleased about that sale, and we should be going out to, you know, bid on at least we are gonna prioritize the projects by health and safety need, and then go out one at a time. And hopefully, if the world settles down, the bids will come in at a reasonable cost. That's what we're hoping. In addition, we do have plans. I think the board president mentioned last week we're gonna working on plans for a scaled down version of the field house. We think we're targeting $8 million, and I believe the architect's going to be coming here on May 19th to talk more about that, give a description of what we're doing. In our budget, we continue not only instruction, we continue to support the arts. So the budgets are still very healthy for our music and arts, and we continue to have in the budget the device and the monies to continue our one-to-one effort for our devices for the students. These are the tax levies. These are the actual numbers, the dollars that we are going to be charging the town. So if you look on the top there, you see FY 25 and 26. Our total tax levy for 26 is $53,024,457. That is for the operating budget. We are only going to charge $1,924,27 for our debt service. So the total tax for the towns is $54,944,884. You can see on the top part here, the general fund, that's a 2% increase. These splits are estimated because I'm still working with the county tax department. It's roughly 2/3, 1/3 split, 2/3 for West Caldwell and 1/3 for Caldwell, but you can understand on billions of dollars, a couple significant digits change the numbers, but those are roughly the numbers that you'll see in your taxes. So we're 2%. The tax levy is only up 1/4%, and we're slightly under 2% for just total school tax as far as the increase this year in this budget. These are the estimated tax rates with debt service. You can see that we're actually lower as they stand right now with these tax rates. We're going to see a slight decrease in taxes that has to do with the taxable base going higher, but we should see for Caldwell the change is 0.33. This is per thousand, and then for West Caldwell 0.3670, and these are the numbers that we sent out notice to the town. It's called a Form A4F, and again, these are estimated, but they should be very close to what the county signs off when they come back to me hopefully this week. So if you have $100,000 assessed value for Caldwell, you're down roughly $33 per 100,000. So if you're a 500,000 assessed home, it's about $150 lower tax bill this year for the school tax. For West Caldwell, you're about $170, $180 less than last year. I think we just lost that the screen here. So that's my presentation. We have time for questions and from the audience. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian. Brian, do you want to stay up there and answer questions? Does anyone have any questions on the proposed budget for Brian? Okay. Can you just?
You gotta go to the mic. Sorry. No one at home can hear you. I apologize.
That's better way. I'll go down here. Okay.
Good evening. Matt Mictus, 39 Forest Avenue. Regarding the $8 million going to the new field house that's being presented in a couple weeks. In the previous proposal, when it was 15 and change, the board was going to contribute about $2 million out of the capital reserves. What are we doing? Are we going to contribute the same? If not, what's going to happen with the $2 million that was going to be used for the previous building?
So this plan, we are not planning to use it in the capital reserve.
Okay.
So it's going to be an $8 million borrowing. Last time it was approximately 15.4, $2 million going in from capital reserve, and it would have been a 13.4 million borrowing. This one is a smaller plan, $8 million. We're going to hope to bond the entire project.
Okay.
So what happens with the other $2 million? It's available for other projects. You know, it's like money. It's a special restricted reserve that can be used for other capital projects in the district.
Could you provide some examples of what those other projects? I mean, just ballpark. Like
No,
what
right,
could
no,
it
right
be
now we
used
don't
for?
have other projects targeted, but it's like many schools like to have capital reserve and main reserve funds available because we don't know. If a roof goes and caves, then we have to put a roof on. So if you have nothing, then you don't have the ability for large projects. So that we don't have a plan for the
So nothing's
right now.
earmarked. Does that sit in an interest-bearing account? Just rolls if we need it?
I'm sorry?
Does it sit in an interest-bearing account?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's a special account. We get interest on it, and absolutely.
Cool. Thanks.
Sure.
Anyone else? Okay. We have to do public comment, so we'll open that up. Right, Chris? Yep. So we're going to open up the public comment portion of the meeting. Again, this is just a special budget meeting, so we'll do public comment, then we'll vote the budget in, and then we will adjourn. So public participation shall be governed by the following. Participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration and may only address items on the agenda. Participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns but not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer session or cross-examination between the public and individual members. Please be aware that not all issues brought before the board will be resolved this evening. Boards may respond to public comment by seeking additional information or by delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or his designee. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, and/or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment. Would anyone like to get up to address the board this evening? No? Okay, so we'll close public comment, and now we're going to move for the adoption of the 2025-2026 budget. Danielle, I'll ask you to read the resolution, please, for finance and facilities. Yeah.
Right here?
Yep.
Resolved that the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education in the County of Essex approves the submission of the tentative 2025-2026 school district budget to the Essex County Superintendent of Schools. This budget meets the requirements for providing the New Jersey student learning standards and consists of appropriations as follows. And do you want me to read throughout this?
I would just read the first line, the total expenditures,
Sure.
general fund, special.
Okay, the total expenditures for 25-26, general fund is $61,914,252. Special revenues, $721,089. Debt service, $5,476,725, for a total of $68,112,066.
And then I would just say total expenditures less the 3.2 transfer of capital reserve.
2025-2026 total expenditures net of $3,250,000 transfer, and then the total being $64,862,066.
Brian, is that good enough? Do we have to read the entire
No,
thing?
that's
Keep
good.
going, that's
That's
fine?
good.
Okay, great. Okay, do I have a second, please?
I will second it.
Great, and then Brian, if you could please take the roll.
Yes. Ms. DiMartini?
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Diambola?
Yes.
Ms. Grosso?
I'm gonna vote yes, but before I do, I just wanna close, but on behalf of the board, Brian, would just like to thank you and Dr. Conklin for your efforts with balancing the budget. Just so people know, there were very, very minor cuts made in the budget, no cuts to curricular instruction or to staffing at the building levels, which is very, very important. And we have asked for a 5-year projection. I mean, there's districts around us that are folding left and right. The state is coming in. Their budgets are millions and millions in the red. We are not, and I'm very, very proud to be part of a group of individuals who are so fiscally responsible with our tax dollars, and very grateful again to the both of you for helping us to make this happen for next school year. So my vote is yes as well.
Okay, 5-0, motion carried.
Great. Before I make a motion, ask for a motion to enter into executive, I'd like to just remind everyone that our next public meeting is May 19th. It will happen here at the James Caldwell High School cafeteria. At that meeting, 2 very important things are going to happen. That meeting is going to begin at 5:30 p.m. From approximately 5:30 till 7 o'clock, give or take. We will have the introduction of our new interim superintendent. The new superintendent is Dr. Lydia Fernari. She's a resident here in West Caldwell, and she will be with us for this school year. We will also be having our architect, Greg Somjan, coming to reveal the plans for the new field house that will be on the ballot at the November election. So anyone watching at home, we have a small group here, but anyone watching at home, please come. Like I said, we're giving a full hour and a half for people to come from work and have a chance to meet Dr. Fernari. I will introduce her, she'll say a few words, and then we'll probably get into a less like informal, where people can come up, shake her hand, meet her, and welcome her into the district. Okay, can I have a motion to enter into executive session? We're closed, yep. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session at 6:43 p.m.?
I'll make a motion.
And can I have a second?
I'll second.
All, Brian, if you could take the roll.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All against, nay. Any abstentions? Motion carried.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you on the 19th. Not, like, if you want to approach one of us, you can.